Yeah. Good morning, students. Today we discuss photoelectric effect. So what is photoelectric effect is when electromagnetic radiation of suitable wavelength is incident on a metal or electrons are emitted from its surface, and this phenomena is called photoelectric effect. So how would we define the photoelectric effect as the emission of electrons from a metal surface when a radiation of suitable wavelength is incident on that particular metal surface, and the emitted electrons are called photoelectrons. And already we have discussed in the last class that this particular phenomena was first observed by Hertz and was experimental studies were made by Hallwachs and Lenard. Okay. Now the simple arrangement to observe the photoelectric effect. This is the simple arrangement to observe photoelectric effect. This is a evacuated quartz bulb. So this is a evacuated quartz bulb consisting of two electrodes. And this is a photosensitive material. That means this particular electrode is able to emit electrons when light is incident. So light is incident on this particular metal surface. Electrons are emitted. So electrons are emitted, and these two particular plates, that means this plate is connected to the negative terminal of a voltage divider, and this particular electrode B is connected to positive terminal of the voltage divider through a microammeter. Okay. So this particular electrode is connected to the negative terminal, and this particular electrode is connected to positive terminal through a microammeter. Okay, that means this plate is made positive with respect to this plate. So this plate is positive. That means positive potential is connected to this place. As the electrons are negatively charged particles, they are attracted towards this positive potential, so that electric current flows through this circuit and this was observed by the deflection in this microammeter. Okay, this is the simple arrangement to get to observe the photoelectric effect. So when radiation of suitable wavelength is made to incident on this electrode or metal plate, and electrons are emitted, and this particular electrode is made positive potential with respect to this particular cathode. We can say this is emitter and this is collector also. These two cathode, this is the emitter of electrons, this is the collector of electrons. That means it accepts the electrons. So this collector is connected to positive terminal and emitter is connected to negative terminal of the battery, so that as these electrons are negatively charged particles, they are attracted towards the positive potential as they move from this particular electrode to this particular electrode. That means as the movement of electron takes place means electric current flows, so that that particular electrical current is noted in this particular in this microammeter by the deflection of this microammeter. Okay, this is the simple arrangement to observe the photoelectric effect, and the current flowing through this microammeter is called photocurrent. The electrons emitted here are called photoelectrons, and the conduction or the current caused due to these photoelectrons is called photocurrent. Now we study the characteristics of these photoelectrons. Sorry. Okay. Now first we consider that this positive potential is applied to plate B and negative potential to this electrode A. Okay. When light is incident on this metal plate, electrons are emitted from the photometal, and those electrons are accelerated by this positive potential. Accelerated means they gain kinetic energy. So they gain kinetic energy means their velocity increases, so that they move. That means there is a flow of electrons from this plate to this plate inside this tube. So as the electrons are moving, photo causes current through this circuit, and that current we call it as photocurrent. Now that is, we can measure that photocurrent by this microammeter. Now assume that if this positive potential is increased, that means by changing this voltage divider we can vary the applied potential across these plates, across these two plates. So when we increase this positive potential, the current slowly increases in this case. Okay, when we increase the positive potential, an increase is observed in the photocurrent. So, and the variation of these, first we study the effect of this applied potential across these two plates. Okay. First, now if the intensity of light is constant and frequency of the light wave is also constant and without changing the metal, these three are same. That means keeping the intensity of the incident radiation and frequency of the radiation constant, and metal place is same. In that case, if we slowly increase this positive potential, what we have to study is the effect of the applied voltage. Now, if we increase this positive potential, the current slowly increases. That means this photocurrent slowly increases with the increase in applied voltage. After a particular value of applied voltage, the current becomes constant. Okay? First, when we increase the applied potential, the current increases, and up to a particular applied voltage, the current also increases. But after applying a particular voltage, this photocurrent becomes constant, and that is called saturation. That means when once the current value reaches the saturation value, further increase in the applied voltage does not alter the current value. Okay? Initially, when we increase the applied potential, slowly the current also increases, but after reaching a particular value called saturation current or saturation value, even though we increase the applied voltage, there is no increase observed in the photocurrent. So we can represent this variation of this applied voltage with respect to this photocurrent as like this by this graph. Like this. Okay. Now if we draw a graph between the applied voltage on x-axis and photocurrent on y-axis, if we draw a graph between the applied voltage and photocurrent, that means this applied voltage and the reading of this current, this meter. So the graph is like this. The graph is like this. That means the current increases and reaches a max saturation value like this, and further increase in this, there is no change in current. That means after this particular voltage, where the current has reached a saturation value, now we increase the voltage after this particular voltage value, there is no change in the current. That means the current remains constant, and this is called saturation current. Now if we slowly decrease the voltage like this, again back, that means if while increasing we got this like, now we are decreasing also, up to this there will be no change in the current value, but slowly decreasing, if we decrease the applied voltage to 0, there is still current flows through the circuit. Here, that means if we increase the current, if we increase the applied voltage, we get increase, and at a particular saturation voltage, a particular value, the current reaches a saturation value. Afterwards, further increase in voltage does not increase the current. Now if we decrease in the reverse direction, if we decrease the applied voltage and up to 0, there will be current. That means even the applied voltage is 0, current flows through this circuit or flows through this, and this microammeter does not show 0 deflection. That means some current flows through this circuit. So that means this indicates that the emitted photoelectrons have some energy so that they can move. That means they have some kinetic energy so that they move, that can constitute a current. So even the potential is 0, current flows through the circuit. Now if we reverse the polarities like this, That means here also. Like this. If we reverse the polarities, that means B is made negative with respect to A, which is positive. If we interchange these two polarities, what happens is, this actually electrons are negatively charged particles, and this particular collector is also negative potential. That means electrons are repelled. That means the photocurrent has to be decreased. But when we reverse the polarity, all of a sudden the current won't become to zero. Okay, because some electrons have sufficient energy so that they can overcome this repulsion and move. Okay, when the potential is negative, that means if we reverse the polarities, some electrons have sufficient energy so that they can overcome this negative potential and move from A to B. So it constitutes current. So they will constitute current. Suppose if we increase this negative potential, what happens is some electrons are stopped. Okay, because when it is 0, all the electrons are moving towards this A to B, but when we made it negative with respect to A, B is made negative, then some electrons are stopped. That means the electrons are whose energy is sufficient to overcome this repulsion can move. That means number of photoelectrons are decreased which can move, so that the photocurrent decreases. Suppose if we increase this negative potential, some more electrons are stopped. Okay, again the current decreases. If we increase the negative potential further and some more electrons are stopped, and current becomes and current decreases. In that way, at a particular value of applied voltage, this current becomes 0. That means when we reverse the polarities, the current won't fall to 0, but on slowly increasing the negative potential, at a particular potential value, this particular current becomes 0. And this potential is called stopping potential. B0 is called stopping potential or cutoff potential. Okay, what is stopping potential means? It is the minimum negative potential that is to be applied so that this photocurrent becomes 0. That means at a particular value of this particular stopping potential value is applied to this electrode B, or negative potential is applied to the plate B, then all these photoelectrons are stopped and the photocurrent becomes 0. Now if we increase this negative potential, this value remains as 0. That means photocurrent becomes 0. So stopping potential is defined as the negative potential, the minimum negative potential that is to be applied so that the photocurrent becomes 0. And that potential is stopping potential. Now in this graph, that stopping potential is represented by this V0, like this. This value is V0. Like this. And this is V0. Okay. Now what is the, now we can study the, now we can say the effect of applied voltage. When this B is positive potential with respect to A, by slowly increasing the applied voltage, then current also increases with increase in voltage, and at a particular voltage this current becomes constant, and that is called saturation current. Now if we reverse the polarity, that means if B is made positive and A is negative, then By slowly increasing the negative potential, at a particular negative potential value, the photocurrent becomes zero, and that potential is called stopping potential. So, by this graph, we can study the variation of photocurrent with respect to the applied voltage. Okay? With respect to applied voltage, when positive potential is applied, current increases, and at a particular value, it reaches a saturation. And there from that point onwards, increase in voltage does not increase the current. When it is made negative potential, with respect to B is made negative potential, then increasing negative potential at a particular potential value, this photocurrent becomes zero, and that potential is called stopping potential. Now we study the second case, intensity. Okay. Now, second case, second characteristic, intensity of incident radiation. Intensity of incident radiation. Now, intensity of incident radiation means, now the intensity of the radiation, what is the intensity of radiation? It is intensity of a wave is the amount of, here in this case we are considering it as light. Okay, photo means light. So light energy. Intensity means light energy. So, light energy passing through unit area in unit time is called intensity of light. So, intensity of light is the light energy per unit area in unit time per second. That means, if we increase the energy of the light, how we can increase the energy of light means, intensity of light, more intense means more brightness, less intense means less intense. That means if we say the source of light is emitting bright, light of bright means we can say it is high intensity. If the light emitted by a source is dim, then we can say it is low intensity. So now, keeping the frequency of radiation constant, and same material, same metal, that means without changing this photometal, without changing the frequency of incident radiation, but changing the intensity of radiation. Now, how we can read? It is observed that if the intensity of light is increased, then photoelectric current also increases. Okay? When the intensity, that means more light energy is incident on that particular metal surface, more number of electrons are emitted. If more number of electrons are emitted means the strength of this current increases, because current is always equal to the number of charge, total charge flowing in unit time. So if number of charge carriers increases, current also increases. That means if high intensity light is made to incident on this photometal, more number of electrons are emitted. More number of electrons are emitted means more current passes through this tube, photometal. Okay, in this circuit, strength of the current increases. So, intensity, so for number of photoelectrons emitted increases all the way, so that current also increases. But if, suppose if you take, assume that light of intensity I is incident on this metal. Now, if we increase the positive potential in the similar sense, previous case, initially it is positive, it is negative, and a light of intensity I is incident on this metal. and this positive potential is increased, then we get the curve like this, and we decrease and we reverse this potential, then we get the curve like this. Okay. Now, if the intensity is doubled, that means light of intensity double the previous case, 2I is made to incident on this metal. Then what happens is current increases, but the variation with respect to the applied force is same as that of previous case. That means in that case we get the curve like this. Like this. That means when the positive potential variation in the positive potential is similar to that of this one, the previous case. But what is this is potential. Similarly, in the applied potential on x-axis, photocurrent on y-axis. Now the graph. Now when the intensity of light is I, then the curve is this one. If we double the intensity, then what happens? The current increases but exhibit the same behavior as like this. That means in this case also current increases and reaches a saturation value, but this particular saturation current is greater than that of this one. Okay? When intensity of light is increased, the current increases as the same ratio as that of this one, but the saturation current is greater than this case. Now if we increase the intensity to 3I, suppose an intensity of incident is 3I, in that case also we get the curve like this. This corresponds to 3I. That means the behavior of the variation of this applied potential and current is same. But if we increase the intensity of incident light, the strength of the current increases like this. If intensity of light is made 4I, then current increases and we get a curve like this, another one like this. But in all these three intensity cases, the stopping potential remains same. Okay? Stopping potential remains same. Okay. That means the stopping potential is independent on intensity of incident radiation. Okay? Okay. So stopping potential is same for all these three intensity curves. All of these three curves coincide at the same point. So from this we can say that the stopping potential is independent on intensity of incident radiation. Okay? Now the next case, third one. Frequency. In case, now if we change frequency of the radiation only, keeping the intensity constant, metal constant, then the variation of stopping potential with respect to frequency is obtained like this. If frequency is taken on x-axis, stopping potential on y-axis, Okay, the frequency increases. Okay, if the frequencies are like this, that means frequency of the first one is less than second one is less than third one, then the stopping potential of this curves, in the previous curves, the stopping potential increases like this. Okay, that means more amount of negative potential is to be applied to stop the photoelectric current. Okay, so this variation can be directly given by this curve. So frequency is increased, stopping potential also increases like this. If frequency for the first curve, frequency of radiation, if frequency for second radiation, frequency for third one. Okay, now this can be drawn like this. Okay, so frequency increases, stopping potential increases. Why? Because frequency increases means kinetic energy of the electrons increases. Frequency increases means frequency increases, kinetic energy of the electrons increases. Okay, if kinetic energy of the electron is more, to stop those electrons we have to apply more negative potential. Okay, so for less kinetic energy we can apply less amount of negative potential. So if the potential, if frequency of increased, kinetic energy of the electrons also increases. So to stop those electrons, the negative potential strength to be increased, so that the frequency increases, stopping potential also increases. Okay, and from this curve we can show that at a particular frequency value like this, the stopping potential is also 0. Okay, different frequencies we have drawn curve like this. At a particular frequency value like this on this axis, that means this axis, the stopping potential is 0, and this frequency is called threshold frequency. This frequency is called threshold frequency. Below, if the frequency of the incident radiation is threshold, above the threshold frequency, this photoelectric emission takes place. And if the incident frequency of the incident radiation is less than this threshold frequency, there is no photoelectric effect takes place. That means photoelectrons are not emitted when the frequency of the radiation, incident radiation, is below this threshold frequency. So to emit electron from a metal surface, minimum energy is required, and that the energy corresponding to the frequency corresponding to that particular minimum energy is called threshold frequency. So if the frequency is less than this threshold frequency, photoelectrons are not emitted. And if it is equal to threshold frequency, stopping potential is 0, because if its energy is equal to minimum energy to liberate an electron, electrons has no kinetic energy. Begins if the frequency is equal to the threshold frequency, the kinetic energy of the electrons is 0. If the kinetic energy is 0 means nothing to apply negative potential. Already kinetic energy is 0 means velocity is 0. Velocity is 0 means photoelectron is at rest. So photocurrent becomes 0. So without applying a potential, stopping potential, current becomes 0. Okay. Now the third case, last one. Fourth characteristic, nature of the metal. Nature of the metal, that means keeping the intensity constant, keeping the intensity of incident radiation constant, if different metal surfaces are taken in the place of A. That means different metal places are exposed to light radiation, then it is observed that for different metals, different curves like this: frequency and stopping potential. Suppose this is for a metal X, this is for metal Y, this is for metal Z. That means different metals have different minimum energy to liberate an electron, because these points are different. That means for the curve for metal X, nu naught 1 is the threshold frequency, for Y it is nu naught 2, and for Z it is nu naught 3. That means different metals possess different threshold frequency values. Okay, different metals possess different threshold frequency values. That means the minimum energy required to liberate an electron from the metal surface varies from metal to metal. Because threshold frequency is different means minimum energy required to liberate an electron from the metal is different for different metals. Okay, but it is observed that the slope of this curve, whatever it is same. The slope of these lines, that means when we draw a graph between frequency and stopping potentials, this slope remains same for three metals, but only the difference is their threshold frequencies are different. That means the energy required for the metals, for these three metals, is different to liberate an electron from the metal surface. Okay, these are the four characteristics of photoelectrons. The first one is with the applied field increases and the negative potential is applied at a particular negative potential called stopping potential, the photocurrent becomes zero. And when we increase the intensity of the incident radiation, the photocurrent increases but exhibit the same nature. But only the difference is strength of current increases when we increase the intensity of light. And third one, if we change the frequency of incident radiation, the stopping potential varies with respect to the frequency. Okay, when we change the frequency, when we increase the frequency of incident radiation, the stopping potential also increases. And a fourth one, the minimum amount of energy required to liberate an electron from the metal depends on nature of the metal. These are the four characteristics of the photoelectrons. So these four characteristics are now these four characteristics is grouped together as laws of photoelectric effect. The laws of photoelectric effect. The first law is the photoelectric effect is instantaneous process. The photoelectric effect is instantaneous process. That means there is no time lag between the incidence of incident radiation and emission of electrons. Okay, that means when the electron strikes the metal surface, the very next instant photoelectrons are emitted. That means there is no time lagging between incidence of radiation and emission of electrons. So that's why it is called instantaneous process. Okay, first law is the photoelectric effect is instantaneous process. That means there is no time lag between incidence of incident radiation and emission of electrons. That means whenever light strikes the radiation strikes the metal surface, very next instant electrons are emitted. Okay, that is the first law is the photoelectric effect is instantaneous process. Now second law. The number of photoelectrons emitted is proportional to intensity of incident radiation. Okay, number of photoelectrons emitted is directly proportional to the intensity of incident radiation. So if we increase the intensity of radiation, more number of electrons are emitted. So if number of electrons emitted means number of electrons emitted increases, current also increases. What current it is? Photocurrent. So photocurrent or number of electrons emitted is directly proportional to the intensity of incident radiation. Okay, this is the second law. Why more number of electrons are emitted means if intensity increases means energy of the incident radiation increases. Intensity increases means intensity increases means light energy increases, so that more number of electrons are emitted. And third law. The kinetic energy of the photoelectrons is proportional to the frequency of the incident radiation. Okay, that means the kinetic energy of the photoelectrons emitted is proportional to the frequency of incident radiation, whatever may be the intensity. This is independent on intensity, this is independent on frequency. Okay, whatever may be, even though if we are made to incident a very high intense light, even though if the frequency is less, the kinetic energy of the electrons will be less. So the kinetic energy of the electrons depends on the frequency of incident radiation. If the frequency is more, the kinetic energy of the photoelectrons is more. Okay, and fourth one, threshold frequency. Threshold frequency means there is a minimum frequency of incident radiation below which the photoelectrons are not emitted. That means to take the photoelectric effect takes place only if the frequency of the incident radiation is greater than or equal to threshold frequency. So there is a minimum frequency for the incident radiation below which this photoelectric effect ceases. Or photoelectric effect takes place only when the frequency of the incident radiation is greater than threshold frequency. And fifth one is the emission of electrons is independent on the temperature of the photometal. Okay, last clear? It is independent on frequency temperature of the photometal. So okay, what are the laws are? First one, the first law, the photoelectric effect is an instantaneous process. there is no time lag between the emission of electrons. There is no time lag between the incidence of radiation and emission of electrons. That is first law. Second law is the number of photoelectrons emitted or the photoelectric current depends on the intensity of incident radiation and independent on frequency of radiation. And third law is the kinetic energy of the emitted photoelectrons depends on frequency of incident radiation independent on intensity of incident. And fourth one, there is a minimum frequency below which there is no photoelectrons are emitted. There is, okay. And fifth one, the photoelectric effect is independent on the temperature of the photometal. So these are the laws of photoelectric effect. Okay. Now Einstein photoelectric equation. So to explain this photoelectric effect, what photoelectric effect means, it is the interaction between the light and electrons or light and particles. Okay. So on the basis of wave theory of light, this photoelectric effect cannot be explained. So Einstein explained this photoelectric effect by using Planck's quantum theory or by Planck's law. Okay. So wave theory of light fails to explain this photoelectric effect. So Einstein explained this photoelectric effect by Planck's law. What this Planck's law says is the energy emitted by a source or radiation is not continuous. It is emitted, the absorption or emission of energy takes place in discrete set of energy values called quantas. That means energy is liberated in the discrete packets of energy called quantas. And the quanta energy of the quanta is equal to h nu. Okay. The emission or absorption of energy is not continuous. It takes place in the discrete set of values, and there are the packets of energy, and that packet of energy is called quanta, and that energy of a quanta is equal to h nu, where nu is the frequency. Frequency of the radiation. Now Einstein explained this photoelectric effect by this Planck's radiation law. So according to Einstein, when a photon of energy h nu is incident on the metal surface, this energy E is equal to h nu. A photon of energy equal to h nu is incident on a metal. This energy is used in two different parts. And first part is used to emit or liberate an electron from its metal surface. Okay. So when this energy, a photon of energy h nu is incident on the metal surface, its energy is absorbed by this electron, and so that the electron is emitted from its metal surface. And second part, that means to emit an electron from a metal surface, minimum amount of energy is required, and that energy is called work function. Photoelectric work function. Okay. So first The given energy is used in two different parts. First part is used to liberate an electron. So some amount of energy is required to liberate an electron from the metal surface, and that amount of energy is called photoelectric work function. And the remaining energy gives kinetic energy to the electrons. Okay. So one part of energy is used to liberate the electron, and the remaining part imparts kinetic energy to the photoelectrons. And this is called Einstein equation. That means, suppose if assume a metal, so minimum energy required to emit an electron from this metal is, assume the example, assume that it is 15 joule. Assume that 15 joule of energy is required to liberate an electron from the metal surface. Now, if a light photon of energy 25 joule is incident on it, a light photon of energy 25 joule is incident on it, then this 25 joule, in this 25 joule of energy, 15 joule of energy is used to liberate the electron, and the remaining 10 joule of energy goes to the kinetic energy. Okay. So when a photon of energy h nu is incident on the metal surface, minimum amount of energy is required to liberate an electron from the metal surface is work function, and that amount of energy is used to liberate the electron, and the remaining energies goes to the kinetic energy of the electron. Suppose if 20 joule energy is incident on that, then the kinetic energy will become 5 joules. If it is 30 joule, then kinetic energy becomes 15 joule. And this 15 joule, which is work function, that is remains constant for a metal. Okay. That means if we give an energy equal to 15 joule, electron just emitted from the surface, just emits from the surface, but its kinetic energy is 0. If we supply energy, photon energy is 10 joule, then photoelectrons are not emitted. Okay, understand? Suppose if minimum amount of energy required to liberate an electron from the metal is 15 joule, if we supply the same 15 joule, the electron liberates from the surface. The electron emits from the surface. If we give an amount less than that one, electrons are not emitted. If we give energy greater than that particular work function value, then it takes the minimum value for the liberation, and the remaining energy goes to kinetic energy. Suppose in this case, if we supply 25 joules, kinetic energy will be 10 joule. If we supply 20 joule, if incident energy is 20 joule, kinetic energy will be 5 joules. If the incident energy is 30 joule, kinetic energy will be 15 joule. Okay. So mathematically this whole equation this can be written as h nu is equal to work function plus half mv square, because kinetic energy of the electron and this is work function. So the given energy, minimum energy is required to liberate the electron, that is work function, and the remaining energy imparts to kinetic energy of the electron. Okay. Now this can be written as W, because this is also energy. We can write W as h nu naught, where nu naught is the threshold frequency. Okay. That means the minimum frequency required for the emission of electron is threshold frequency. So that we can write as h nu naught, that is equal to work function. So now I can write this equation as h nu is equal to h nu naught plus half mv square, and this is Einstein photoelectric equation. Okay, that means when energy, the photon of energy h nu is incident on a metal surface, minimum amount of energy required to liberate the electron is called work function. So that work function, it is used in two parts. One part liberates the electrons from the metal surface, remaining part gives kinetic energy to the electrons. Okay, now this equation is h nu is equal to h nu naught plus half mv square. Now if stopping potential is applied, in the last case we heard it, this is A and this is B. If B is made positive, photoelectric current flows. If B is negative, photocurrent decreases. So if the applied voltage is V0, that means equal to stopping potential, what happens is photocurrent becomes 0. Photocurrent becomes 0 means the kinetic energy of the electron becomes 0, because when the velocity of the electron becomes 0, current becomes 0. That means in that case half mv square is equal to, this total amount of energy is converted into potential energy, because this particular potential stopping these electrons here with a strong repulsion. That means the kinetic energy of the electrons is converted into potential energy, and that is equal to EV naught. Okay, already in the last class we have discussed that this is the work done in moving an electron from between 2 points of potential difference V naught. So half mv square is equal to V naught. Now we can write this equation here also. Therefore h nu is equal to h nu naught plus EV naught. Okay. Now that equation can be written as EV naught is equal to h nu minus h nu naught. So V naught is equal to h by E nu minus h by E nu naught. This is also Einstein equation. Okay, so what Einstein explanation is, when a photon of energy h nu is incident on the metal surface, some amount of energy is uses to liberate the electron from the metal surface, and the remaining energy gives kinetic energy to this. Remaining energy gives kinetic energy to the photoelectrons. So h nu is equal to work function plus half mv square. So work function is the minimum amount of energy required to liberate an electron from the metal surface. So that can be written as h nu naught, where nu naught is the threshold frequency. So threshold frequency is the frequency, minimum frequency below which no photoelectrons are emitted. So that is h nu naught is equal to h nu is equal to h nu naught plus half mv square. When a negative potential is applied, then the kinetic, when at the stopping potential, the kinetic energy of the electrons becomes 0. In that case, half mv square is equal to EV naught. So that we can write this equation into V naught is equal to h by E into nu minus h by E into nu naught. Okay, this is Einstein photoelectric equation. Okay, in this way Einstein explained the photoelectric equation. Okay, now from this equation we can explain the laws of photoelectric effect. Okay, now according to quantum theory, intensity of light is proportional to h nu. Okay, sorry. So energy is equal to h nu. Okay, that means it is energy is one particle. Suppose if E is equal to nh nu, that means more number of photons are emitted through unit area. Actually, intensity of light equal to E by A into delta T. If area remains constant and time remains constant, if number of photons increases, energy increases and intensity also increases. So if more number of photons incident on the material, more number of electrons are emitted. That means every photon interacts with an electron. So if n number of photons are incident, that means if n increases, intensity increases. Intensity increases, current also increases. If the number of photons increases, the number of interacting electrons also increases, so that the number of photons emitted also increases, photoelectric current increases. If frequency increases, kinetic energy increases. Okay? If frequency increases, kinetic energy increases. Because minimum amount of energy is taken to liberate electron, remaining energy will be given to kinetic energy. If this frequency is more, kinetic energy will be more. Okay? Now, we have discussed that nu naught is the threshold frequency. That means it is the frequency required to liberate, minimum frequency required for the radiation to liberate an electron from the metal surface. The corresponding wavelength is called threshold wavelength. If it is threshold frequency and this is threshold wavelength. So as we know, h nu naught is equal to C by lambda naught. Frequency is equal to C by lambda naught. So the work function W is equal to h nu naught. That means minimum amount of energy required, h nu naught. That can be written as hc by lambda 0. Okay, hc by lambda 0. So lambda 0 is equal to hc by W. hc by W. Now if we write this hc and substituting, h is equal to 6.625 10 power minus 34 and c is 3 into 10 power 8 by work function in joule. If we take W in joule. Now if we write this W in electron volts, already last class we have discussed the conversion between joule and electron volts. So W is equal, lambda naught is equal to 6.625 10 power minus 34 into 3 into 10 power 8 by 1.6 10 power minus 19 into W. This is in electron volt. Sorry. Sorry. One minute. Okay. W is equal to hc by lambda. Now this is in joule. Actually we get it at this value in joule when we take lambda in meter and we get the value in joule. So to get this value in electron volt, that is 6.625 10 power minus 34 into 3 into 10 power 8 divided by lambda naught. Now this value is in joule. If we divide it by 1.6 into 10 power minus 19, we get in electron volt. Okay, by calculating all these things, simplifying, we get it is 1200. Sorry. we get the relation like this. That means if we use this equation directly, work function is equal to 12400 by lambda in angstrom gives directly value of electron volt. Okay, so this is the conversion for the work function, where you remember that del W is equal to 12400 by lambda in Armstrong in electron volt, where W is in electron volt. Okay.